when Xi Jinping wants to visit India again he does not choose Delhi, which is the political capital of India, but he chooses Mahabalipuram to visit. Why is this? Because in 600, Bodhidharma was a Pallava prince. Bodhidharma traveled to China from the port city of Mamallapuram, which was the Pallava kingdom. The capital of the Pallava kingdom is Kanchipuram, from where my family hails. Actually, my father is born in Kanchipuram, so sharing a proud lineage with the town and that whole generation. Now, Bodhidharma, who is respectfully referred to as Daruma in China, he traveled to China from the port city of Mamallapuram. So Mamallapuram was a great port city of those days. Even today, apart from the shore temple that is there on the coast of Mamallapuram, which both the leaders visit, there is a lighthouse. There is a modern lighthouse and there is a traditional old lighthouse of 1500 years antiquity. So this lighthouse shows that Mamallapuram was a thriving port of those days. And this is where the two leaders want to meet. So again, he is seeing a connect between India and China through Buddhism, and this time not just through Huansang but through Bodhidharma, the Pallava prince who took Buddhism in a big way to China. They are choosing historical sites, so the historical basis to re-establish the connect between these two great countries of Asia and these two great civilizations. That's a very positive sign of showing intent and positivity to revisit these places and take the steps forward. Because if you say it's going to be a century of Asia, of India and China, then both should be on a firm footing, use that to go forward. And instantly we see what Buddha gave, Dhyanam, what we call Dhyanam, and when we went to China, it became Chan. Because of the how the language evolves, and which thereon went to Japan to become Zen, and then you got Zen Buddhism. From Dhyan it became Chan, and from Chan it became Zen, and then Zen Buddhism. So that's how words evolve. The way Bodhidharma went from India to China, Bodhisena also went from here, from the Pallava kingdom to Japan, and went to the Nara college. So there's a continuous cultural connect between these two lands, and it is that we are celebrating. And it's fortunate, but both these countries have got this as a strength, as a bedrock to build on and take it forward. In 1960, you had the Chinese ambassador Hu. When he was asked to comment about the relationship between India and China, he made a very telling statement. He said, India had conquered China for over 1,500 years without ever sending a single soldier into China. So he's talking about conquer in the sense of sharing, not just conquering the physical military sense, but of giving values, thoughts, and all that as Buddhism and all other aspects with China, sharing with China. So that was the great aspect. It was a cultural sharing. So cultural influence. For this sort of culture influence, cultural sharing, not just the colonization that was the norm between 1600 to 1900 in the world because of European colonization. Contrary to that, there is another thing that was in India and Southeast Asia and China of the cultural sharing, cultural perspectives, which was called in the Indian term as Krinvanto Vishwam Aryam. Aryam here means nobility. Krinvanto, to do, Vishwam, world. So the idea was to go share with the world and make the world a noble place. It does not go overseas with armies and conquer and plunder and loot, which is a very colonial thing of the 1600s and 1700s, 1800s. But the Krinvanto Vishwamaryam of going around the world, sharing ideals, sharing thoughts, and then making the whole place of both civilizations mutually respect each other and share. So that has been the bedrock of Indian thought, which is what Ambassador Hu had said in 1960 in America. So going forward from 2020 onwards, or 2014 to 2019 and 2020 beyond. So this should be the bedrock of sharing ideas, trade, thoughts, and nobility, because Arya, being noble, is a noble thought. And the Sanatana Dharma, Buddhism, Jainism, all have taught taught this idea of nobility. The whole Dharma Chakra, which is made up of 24 spokes. The Indian flag has got Dharma Chakra in it. The Dharma Chakra is made up of 24 spokes. The 24 spokes speak of 24 values of nobility. So it is that which should be the bedrock of taking the relationship forward, so that both these countries, both these civilizations once again can form the bedrock of the world for the century to come. And the meeting in 2014 in Vadnagar, where Hyun Sang visited, and 2019 in Mallapuram is the foundation for it. And instantly, if you look at the word Mallapuram, of course, Mahabalipuram is a later corruption of the word Mallapuram. What does the word mean? Ma means great. Mallan means wrestling. Puram is the place. So the place where the great wrestler lived. Who is a great wrestler? The Pallava prince, the Pallava kings were great wrestlers. Rajasimha and Narasimha are all great wrestlers. So look at, so wrestling was an active sport of royalty and the common people. So this is about 1500 years back in Mahabalipuram, which is named after the sport of Malyuddham, as they call it in India, Malyuddham. And to go back to Krishna's time, Krishna and Balarama were experts in Malyuddham. They engaged Kamsa and Chanura and defeated them in Malyuddham. So this wrestling sport is a sport of India for 5,000 years. And this Mahabalipuram is a center of the wrestling sport. So you see a lot of connect between the name, the places, the antiquity, the history, the culture, the economy, because Mahabalipuram was a great port city, a trading center for the whole Coromandel coast. The Coromandel coast is from Kanyakumari all the way up to Odisha and beyond. So the whole Coromandel coast, nearly 1,000 years, this port city of Mahabalipuram was a trading hub. And trading from here to China, Southeast Asia and all that. So this is the revival of those millennia-old ties between these two great civilizations.